Argument Alice, Framework Freddy, Comparison Connie, Structure Sam, Delivery Danny, Rebuttal Rosie are the Dialogy Debate Super Team. They are here to help develop your superpowers.
Hello everyone, Rebuttal Rosie here. Today I am going to teach you one of the most important things in debate, rebuttal. Rebuttal means to provide some evidence or argument that refutes or opposes an argument. To refute means to prove to be wrong or in error. In simple terms, a rebuttal is when we explain that our opponent's argument is wrong or mistaken. Debate would be very boring without rebuttals. As you learned from Argument Alice, making an argument is like building a house. You need all the crucial components: claim, reasoning, and evidence. A rebuttal is an attempt to deconstruct or tear down what our opponent has built. Now, before we begin your training in rebuttal, you must make a promise to me. You must promise that your rebuttals will always remain friendly and respectful. Even though we are explaining that our opponents are wrong, it is never okay to be mean or aggressive. My shield symbolizes that we are defending against the arguments of our opponents. However, the yin-yang signifies that there is a bit of truth in our opponent's arguments. The process of argument and rebuttal helps us all to learn. For this reason, we respect and appreciate our opponents and their arguments. Finally, we attack arguments, but never people. Do you promise to respect and value your opponents at all times? Excellent. Then let's get started. Today, I will show you the 4 simple steps of rebuttal. They are: Step 1. Briefly state the argument you are refuting. Step 2. Express disagreement with the argument. Step 3. Provide reasons for disagreement. Step 4. Brief conclusion. Step 1. My opponent says. The first thing you need to do is clearly and briefly summarize the argument of your opponent. The audience must know which point you are refuting. Step 2. However, I would like to challenge this argument. In this step, you simply indicate that you will provide reasons why the argument is flawed or wrong. Step 3. Because. In this step, you provide the reasons why you think the argument is flawed or wrong. There could be many reasons why you think the argument is flawed. Remember what Structure Sam says, and always enumerate these arguments. Step 4. Therefore, in this step, you simply provide a conclusion to your rebuttal. You might say, therefore, we think that this argument does not stand. Let's look at an example of a refutation in an actual debate. Let's first hear the argument that we will rebut. To refute, we need to listen carefully. Listen to the claim, reasoning, and evidence before constructing your rebuttal. Let's look at an argument we have heard before on the topic. Kids should not be allowed to have mobile phones.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first argument to support the topic that kids should not be allowed to have mobile phones is: mobile phones are bad for kids' eyes. Now, let me explain the reasons why this is true. First of all, mobile phones have a light called a blue light. That's what allows us to see the screen. If kids look at this light too much, it will hurt their eyes. Mobile phones have so many bright colors and images that are too bright for kids' eyes. Secondly, most kids cannot stop looking at their mobile phones. Mobile phones have lots of games and videos that kids like to watch. These games and videos are fun and exciting, and kids can't stop watching them. The bright colors and images are very attractive to kids. Third, sometimes parents and teachers cannot control the mobile phone use. Parents and teachers cannot watch their kids at all times because they're busy. This means that kids can look at their mobile phones all day, which is bad for their eyes. Now, let me introduce some evidence to support this claim. A new study says that smartphones may ruin your eyesight. Researchers at the University of Toledo in Ohio have found that exposure to blue light, the glow emitted from most smartphones, tablets, and laptops, promotes the growth of poisonous molecules in your eyes, leading to macular degeneration. So, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that kids should not have mobile phones because they are too harmful to kids' eyes.
Now, let's look at an example of the 4 steps in action.
My opponent's first argument was mobile phones are harmful to kids' eyes. They explained that the blue light on the phone, along with the inability of kids to control phone use, will damage their eyes and can even lead to blindness. However, I would like to challenge this argument. I think this argument is flawed for 2 reasons. 1, it is not true that kids cannot control their use of phones. We believe that parents can control phone use through screen control apps. We also think that kids can control their phone use and that they prefer to play with friends and do things other than look at their phones. So it is just not right that if kids have phones, they will look at them like zombies all day long. 2, even if kids do look at mobile phones a lot, we don't think it will be that bad for kids' eyes. The worst case scenario is that kids have to wear glasses, but we don't believe this is such a big deal. Also, reading a lot of books can hurt kids' eyes too, but we would never say that kids should not be allowed to read. Therefore, we think that the effects of mobile phones on kids' eyes are not a reason kids should not have mobile phones.
There, we have seen an example of a rebuttal in action. Once you master the 4 steps, I will introduce you to more refutation techniques. For now, go ahead and respectfully refute each one of your opponent's arguments. Good luck.